Very special
Right to get out and assess the damage.
Well, I'm not in Kingston. I'm in another beautiful part of
interview with
Jamaica,
the
Great Bay,
President of
in the Treasure Beach area of St.
Jamaica.
Elizabeth, which
That's
is close to the
Kingstown,
seaside. It's a small community, and
UK24.
I'm here on an aerial tour. So we just landed to actually get an on-the-ground perspective of the damage. And flying, hugging the coast of Jamaica, looking at some of the villages that have been damaged, what we see is what we would typically expect
From a
from
hurricane.
a category 2 or 3 hurricane. Some roof damage, downpours, fallen trees, and some areas that are inundated and flooded. We did have in the southeastern end of the island some impact from storm surges and other low-lying areas. But in general, I think most Jamaicans would be of the view that having been hit by a category 4 hurricane, we escaped the worst.
Sounds like it.
Yes,
They got
like you
lucky.
said, some of the winds weren't maybe as
This
strong as
time,
they were
there's more to
expected.
come though. Hold on to your breath, my friend. There's a lot worse to come. The worst one ever, historically speaking. Category 6 hurricane, which I've been predicting this year. You watch it. Let alone 45 Celsius across the northwest of
Been the most destructive element in destroying roofs,
the UK.
falling
Well, southeast of
trees,
the north
and
of southeast of the
light
north of
So we are
western parts of Europe.
about 40% restored for our electricity. Our other utilities, water and telecommunications are being stood up as we speak. We expect that by the end of the day, we should be back up to about 50 or 60% in terms of electricity island-wide. And by the end of the week, we are expecting that there should be full recovery.
And quite clearly, you are well versed in
That
making
destructive
preparations
from
and
the
being able
right.
to clear up after weather systems like this. The UN saying it's unlocked $4
Holy
million
moly.
for its emergency response
Whoa.
fund. That is important, one assumes. And tell me how
Mighty.
that money will be used across the
God
world.
almighty, how much money do they need down
My
there?
understanding is that
Probably billions
it will
of
be distributed
dollars.
across all the Caribbean
This year
islands.
especially.
We haven't made a decision as to how that will be used, but certainly it would be, if it is available immediately, directed into our response and recovery. We have probably close to 1,000 persons in shelters, and their urgent and emergency needs. We intend to take care of those. And of course, we have
The most active hurricane season. The most active hurricane season ever on record recorded this year on the way, guys. I'm not joking.
Road infrastructure. So we're grateful for the assistance provided by the UN. But generally, you asked about how do we prepare. Jamaica has a very comprehensive and robust.
Hope we lost them again. It's very patchy, the signal. It's very iffy.
A sense tells the government to be prepared.
Yeah, sorry to cut across you there. We just lost you very briefly, but I want to persevere with this line, and people will understand why it is difficult with communications right now, given the damage that you've sustained. Talk to me, if you will, about how prepared you were able to be, given that this storm really grew in strength really quickly, taking a lot of weather experts, meteorologists by surprise.
It didn't take me by surprise. What planet Earth they living on? I predict category 6 this year. Oh dear. Maybe it's best to cut the line.
Real perfect example of what climate change is about. It's a change in the long-term trajectory of weather. This hurricane strengthened rapidly before entering into the Caribbean Sea.
Explosive dialysis we caught in the UK.
Reached a category 5 before entering the Caribbean Sea, so early in its development. And it has wreaked havoc across the eastern Caribbean, and it's now barreling into the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, for us, a small island developing state, the issues of climate change are real. Every year, countries in this region, and Jamaica in particular, we face weather events. Sometimes these are high-frequency, low-severity events, but what we are noticing is that the low-frequency, high-severity events are becoming more frequent. And so the impact on our budget, the exposure to debt financing in order to recover, all of those have an impact on our economy and our society. So what we have been doing in Jamaica is to mainstream climate resilience in our budgeting process, in our infrastructure development, and in our national security, so that we can able to successfully withstand the impacts of these kinds of disasters.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Given that we're told there will be more storms this year, the normal and the severity of those storms is increasing. How do you prepare for that?
Well, firstly, as I mentioned, we have a legislation in our country which mandates that the government has to put in place measures at the beginning of the hurricane season. Those measures are in place, and it starts first with an intensive information campaign to ensure that every Jamaican understands what we need to do. But long before that, we have improved our building codes to ensure that most of our buildings can withstand hurricane winds. And I believe we're seeing the benefits of those improvements in our building codes. And then we want our citizens to be able to act responsibly during the hurricane and take measures to protect themselves and their property. And I would say that most Jamaicans acted responsibly during the period of the hurricane.
Comes of living at the tropics, at the equator. One that has its
witnessing behind me now, a fallen
same called the Philippines. They call them
electricity in this area. And if our
typhoons in the Philippines,
you would probably see
and cyclones around Australia
that was
and India.
In the hurricane.
They call them cyclones.
But outside of those kinds of damage,
typhoons across
road infrastructure remains
Japan and China
intact. We should return to normalcy with our airports by early tomorrow. And our tourism industry has largely been spared. And indeed, most of our industries, our economic base has been spared, except for agriculture, which during a hurricane would take a hit. And so that may have an impact on
absolutely fascinating.
We really do wish you well, and thank you so much for being with us on the programme.
It's very interesting, isn't it, guys? Astronomically interesting.
You assess the damage there, but Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Hotness, thank you.
Good luck, my friend. God be with you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
It was worth persevering, even though you'll understand.
Yeah, very frustrating, but you know.
At times, but,
thanks a lot. Cheers.
From the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Now, it is one of the busiest election years in recent history.
This France.
No exception. While polls will close shortly in the UK, in France, voters there are gearing up for a second round of parliamentary elections on Sunday. The far right.
Please subscribe to my channel on Silent Gems on the Force be with you always. This is my friend Sparky and Jimbo. Every Friday at 3 to 5 p.m. ITF15 Sahil Radio Show. Yeah, radio station show every Friday. And it's my friend Shane live with Cindy Lou every Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the Surrey Hills Radio Show every Friday. And it's my friend John the Last Show every Sunday at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. live on the Woking Radio Station show every, you name it, Sunday at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. No joke. This is really, really intense hurricane stuff and election night tonight in the UK and in France as well. Please subscribe on Sunday. You've got the right ring in France trying to take over.
What happens next? Because
it's tense, man. It's tense, man.
First of all, about campaigning. There has been some violence
it's crazy.
on the campaign trail.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Really speaks to that polarisation.
Please subscribe on Sunday.